Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Games Done Quick Hotfix. This is our Silent Hill 3 20th anniversary special, and we have another run of Silent Hill 3 coming up. This one's going to be no quick save, quick load, melee only, new game. Before we get into that, just a quick reminder, your subs, Prime Gaming subs, gift subs, and bitch cheered on the Games Done Quick Twitch channel do help support the Games Done Quick Hotfix. So if you enjoy any of this content, if you like these anniversary specials, any of our daily shows, please consider subscribing because it does really help. With all that said, I will hand it right back over. It might be a familiar face, but I'll let her reintroduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm back. I'm Abby, and I have a new commentator with me in Punchy, who I am very thankful is here. I super appreciate it. We're doing a different run, of course. So in 3, 2, 1... let us begin the run. So this time we're not using guns, we're using pipes and swords. Because of course we are. And we get to skip some small things, because hooray. Yeah, still the same control scheme. Still have to get punched in the face, because of course we do. But the question is, will it punch me faster? So far, the answer is yes.
This on 2D.
I run into the room, and then if I have to move position, I block and move at the same time. Yes, we're getting the good RNG right now.
3 in a row.
Yeah. I can't do the trick that everybody else does, where they like get stabbed on the ground. That's the only thing I can't. Why did I open the menu? Please.
You have to be able to strafe to do that.
Yeah, and there is fake strafing, but it doesn't help that much. Which is just blocking and moving at the same time, but you have to let go of it real fast, otherwise she'll block the shot. But yeah, faster closer. Very good. Okay. I am going to get a gun here, but I'm going to ignore it and just keep running. Because luckily we don't...
Yeah, all the bullets are actually fired in the cutscene.
Oh, nice.
So your gun starts with no ammo. Like it's even the correct amount from a fully loaded clip. There's detail in that.
Nice. Again, running past our raptor friends and going to the bakery where its bread is located, as well as the tongs. That seems like they'd be too big to be able to pick up the key, but somehow pick up the key? Like, literally, they seem too big, and yet it works. Not gonna complain, but it's weird. And also, who dropped a key that far back under a pallet, and why? Also, the raptors have multiplied, because of course they have. I believe...
Now...
Oh, go ahead.
I didn't catch the previous run, so forgive me if Techie already asked this question, but why are you playing in Japanese?
He did not ask that question, and I am playing in Japanese because I did this, not this exact run, but I did this run for Frost Fatales back in February, and there was a Japanese restream, and so I just decided 6715 is our number.
Okay, fair enough.
Yes, also I just play in Japanese a lot.
Not that it needs a justification. Like, I'm the last person who should be questioning that. But I remember a time where, when I first got the record in this game, I happened to be playing in Japanese, and the only reason for that is that I like the font. Mm-hmm. And a whole bunch of people started copying me because they assumed Japanese was faster.
Oh.
there were lots of runs on the board all of a sudden of people playing in Japanese. I was like, you guys do know it's not faster, right? I just happen to think the font looks nice.
Yeah, I have a couple of Japanese runs as well, and I also just kind of like the font. And I was also like,
it's nice text.
let's just be different as well, because why not? I think I even attempted to do French, but then it changes everything. And well, je parle le français, je ne suis pas bien. So that's a thing. So, again, it was just to be different. But specifically at the moment, it was because there was a Japanese restream at Frost Fatales, and I said, why not do something nice for them? As we're just running, dodging the dog. Sometimes that dog can be a pain. And again, auto-aim is still in effect, so there is a chance that Heather will try to play some DDR as she's going through some doors. Also, hopefully we don't get sandwiched here, because these two kind of like to sandwich Heather in between a wall. That was kind of close if they were up maybe a couple more feet. Yes, they did, but they failed, thankfully. And again, as mentioned in the last run, Heather kind of needs the flashlight because her and James are a little blind without it, unlike Travis, who can completely just see in the dark.
There's like a half-game skip that the community's been trying to lab for ages where you can get away with not picking up the flashlight, but you soft-lock the game halfway through if you don't. Like, you can get out of here without it and skip a lot of the game, but then you soft-lock way later as a result of not having the flashlight. It's very unfortunate. If you didn't need it, you'd be able to... This run would be, like, in half.
That would be very useful.
We've been trying to lab that for a while. We've experimented with stuff like swinging the lightsaber to create a temporary source of light. Doesn't work like that.
Oh.
It doesn't work like that. Using the flamethrower doesn't work like that.
Now we pick up the pipe. Yeah, I tried to do QSQL, but it takes me about 2 hours just to do sewer skip. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. Because the one part that I don't like about no QSQL and True Glitchless is dealing with the ghost and her footsteps. I'm like, please just let this end. And I'm like, no one's gonna like if I just do that in a QSQL run, so no. So I reframe.
Purely random. It's very annoying.
Yes. Also, there's our first encounter with bees. They're very noisy.
Bees.
They're the loudest thing in the game, outside of the intro song.
I'm enjoying the names you have for the enemies. We have raptors, we have bees. I think Close is the only one you've given its actual name.
Yes, I explained last run that I didn't know the names of the enemies, even closers, and I used to call them Nintendo 64s because they look like early 3D polygon games, and so I would call them Nintendo 64s. But then someone had asked me how my runs were going and how my closers were going. I had no idea what closer was, so I gave them a long diatribed message while they were streaming, and it was like, and then eventually I figured out what closer was, and so I just called them closers now.
Nintendo 60 was unsurprisingly intuitive description somehow. Like, I immediately understood what you meant by that.
I'm glad. Sorry, I needed to go put pipe, which I didn't.
All right. Yep, pipe goes on. This is where melee only comes into effect.
Yep.
Because the best part about melee only is that you don't have to worry about any bullet routing.
Indeed.
Melee weapons do not break in this game.
Also, for the longest time, melee only was way easier for me to kill Splitworm with until I decided to do Dances with Worms. What is Dances with Worms? It's where I move while shooting him.
And the way this goes,
There we
just kind of whack him to death.
Yep.
Gets him in the loop.
Missionary's the fun one. Leonard, even if he swims, I can still at least hit him, provided he's swimming somewhere in my general direction. And now she's just carrying the pipe around. Eventually she'll switch back to the gun because the game really likes you just holding the handgun. I don't know why. So here we are.
It forcibly equips it in a number of cutscenes.
Yes. Also, Minmo makes an appearance once again, for those who may have missed Minmo.
Strong and healthy.
Also, to be fair, I am wearing a Silent Hill 3 t-shirt right now that has Heather holding Minmo. Just because.
I feel like every Silent Hill runner has like multiple Minmo shirts. I have 2.
It works. Also, again, there is the movie reference scattered throughout the subway. Blink and you'll miss it. Again, when it comes to 2D controls, I don't tend to move the camera. I kind of let the camera do its own thing because Heather's movement changes with the camera angle. But if you let the camera do its thing, I have better control over her movement for some reason. I don't know why.
Yeah, that would make sense. It's fascinating to me because honestly, 2D controls are kind of underexplored for Silent Hill 3. People generally say 3D is faster, and I also play with 3D because I think that's the case, but there's not a lot of lab work that's really gone into 2D. Like, in theory, you can make certain turns and certain rooms way quicker.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was told that 3D controls is the most optimal, and since we don't use guns here, I can just make this turn, by the way. We can just go.
Just bypass the shotgun. Way more convenient.
Yes. And also we see the pile of trash, which is somewhat rare on 2D controls, unless you make that turn a very certain way.
The common wisdom is that 3D controls are faster, but I'm not going to sit here and say that's definitely been like 100% labbed out. We're not really sure. Not that many people play 2D in the first place.
Yes, as far as I know, there's 2 of us who have done it because it's me and Silent Hill 2 world record holder Aaron, because Aaron plays this game in 2D when he decides to play it, which is not often.
I tried 2D and it made my brain hurt.
Oh.
I'm too used to the 3D. I've ran this game for like years. It's like too much of a this is too much of a hassle to swap.
So after the 3rd trash can here, we can start heading towards the stairs. Because if you try to move at that angle, you might hit like one of the pillars if you try to start heading towards the stair. But after the 3rd trash can, there's nothing there, so you're good to go. And then we enter, and everything's good. Now, hopefully I don't get hit here because there is a chance of either losing 0.7 seconds of time or 4 seconds of time. It all depends how they hit me. So let's hope they don't. Also, Heather will randomly read things on the ground, so do try not to mash here. That's the 0.7 seconds of time loss hit. Hooray. The knockdown.
Yeah, sometimes they just pop you on the way through.
Yep. Also, fun fact, if you try to go back the way you came, there will not be a train car there. You will just be at the end of the train. So, train is secretly magical. And that is the subway, the shortest section in the game. Now on to the sewers, and again, somehow she knows her way around the sewers. I don't know why she knows her way, but she does. Also, as I mentioned in the last run, the one category I would recommend that no one does is HD Collection UFO. Don't do it. It is a pain, because enemies refuse to die. You need to be Princess Heart, and it takes about 6 seconds an enemy. Not a fun time, but I went a little crazy and decided to do as many categories as I physically could. And I regret doing that one. This
game has a ton of categories. You've got the separation between PC and console, and then there's like a whole bunch of subcategories there on down.
Yep. Also, that giant raptor can cause you 8 seconds of time loss if he hits you twice. Never had it happen to where he hits me twice. Had it happen to where he can hit me once on both times that he can hit you. I don't know if it's RNG to where the game's like, it will only allow you to get hit once. And then, of course, ow. Like I said, bees are a lot scarier on the ground than they are flying, because for some reason they just have an easier time hitting you. Also, they appear, to me at least, to go faster. All right. Nice turn. Again, just a casual stroll through a sewer system. Hopefully we get our short turn from this guy. Sometimes he'll do it, sometimes he won't. More often than not, if he is doing it, you can kind of tell that you're losing time, because that's when he seems to want to do it most. No short turns today. Thanks, you raptor. Oh well. And then one of the most finicky interactions is this generator. Luckily we got it pretty quickly, and going on down. Unfortunately, Splitworm's the only thing we fight with the pipe. Everything else is the katana. So we're just running along.
Yeah, the main thing this changes is, like, boss strats, because even with a gun, I think bosses are really the only thing you try to shoot in this game.
Yeah. Also falling in the water.
For the most part, everything else is circumventable.
Yeah, and if you fall in the water here, that's 4 seconds of time loss. So, don't try to do it. Although...
I've never counted stuff like that.
Yeah, I did it randomly when I first started running, because I was playing the game a lot, and it just so happened that I was looking at timers at the time. There is the dryer bounce. Very nice, actually.
See, that's very fast on 2D.
Yeah, and it took a while to figure out how to get that fast, because what I'm doing there is the little garbage thing, I'm kind of using that as a turning point, so it almost looks like it bounces off. Also, Heather is secretly Akuma from Street Fighter, because there have been points where she, like, raging demons across the little platform there, and I'm like, oh, okay, that's fine. As we activate this to kill Splitworm Jr. Fun fact, you can die there on easy mode, but you have to try to walk across the platform twice before the game will actually let the worm kill you. And of course we jump down and run into 3 bees at once. This is the sound of 3 of them flying at once. It is 4 of them on higher difficulties, because one spawns immediately behind you and around the corner, for whatever reason. Not sure why. And we're just running up the stairs to enter the hilltop area. In terms of each section and how much time they take, from shortest to longest, it's subway, sewer, church, hospital, mall, and then amusement park. But that's my opinion, because also my amusement park split is absolutely massive, because I started from the time that you kill Leonard till the time you kill Alessa, so... Haha. And again, running up the stairs, just trying to get to the 5th floor. You can't get into any of the other floors, can you?
No, they'll give you, like, it's broken. They give you that kind of prompt.
Yeah. And then we're going straight. And while there's a dark screen here, I'm going to immediately put my thumb into bottom right on the analog stick to be able to make that turn. If I don't do that, Heather doesn't know what to do for some reason and will kind of half spin in a circle. And it's like, oh, okay. Very good. And then we're about to do the hardest of the 3 bounces, which is the rope bounce. I actually failed it last run. Oh good, the dog's aggressive. What fun. There we go. So the little, I don't know what you call those chairs, but the ones that are almost like mini couches. That's the point that I'm using as a turn point, so it looks like I'm kind of half bouncing off the chair into the rope to pick it up. I've also kind of noticed that it almost looks like I'm somehow bouncing off the poster. Also, everybody say goodbye to raptors because these are the final 2 in the run. Hold on a second, I forgot to go grab a katana. So I should do that first. The amount of times that I've forgotten to grab the katana before and then it's been too late has been numerous. Because I don't do this category that often. There we go. Now it's time to say goodbye to the raptors.
Because this is only available now while you're in like the normal world building. Once it becomes the other world, it's gone. It's already too late to pick it up.
Yes.
And the katana is actually quite a good weapon.
Again, pick up those to help me run through Silent Hill. I think every runner has their own method for which health drinks they pick up, or some even do ampules. I believe you do ampules, don't you?
Usually, yeah.
Yeah, I don't...
Depends on the category, though, because there's like too many of them.
That's fair. I don't know where to find enough ampules to run through Silent Hill with, so I just do the drink method.
On no quick save quick load, it's easy mode, so health drinks are fine. On other categories, the stamina meter is physically smaller on higher difficulties, but ampules give you infinite for X amount of time flat.
Okay.
So ampules become more valuable the higher your difficulty is.
Okay. So then we go into the other world. For whatever reason, the PC version doesn't have a voiceover. The other 2 versions do.
Legal issues.
Oh. It's
because Thessaly Lerner sued.
Yeah, when I did HDC runs and then PS2 runs, I was like, oh, there's voiceover here. What? Okay.
Yeah, it's reused from the first game, you see, and the voice actors, and well, I say voice actors, it was just one. It was the person who voiced Lisa in the first game. She was like, you can't do that without paying me. And she's right, for what it's worth.
Yes.
But they gave her some money and just cut all of the reused lines from the PC port when they released it. Konami! Woo!
Yes. It'll be interesting to see what they do with the Silent Hill 2 remake. Yay, Silent Hill 2 remake. Where you need a massively beefy PC to run it. Yay. Alright, now we need to go grab... Why did I grab the shotgun shells, by the way? I just realized that I grabbed the shotgun shells.
I do that all the time.
I was like, wait a minute, I just grabbed shotgun shells. I don't even have the shotgun. Why? Oh well. And then, of course, don't do this right on the bucket because the game's like, what are you doing? It's really weird why you can't do this standing right next to the bucket. Then we have Slurper Room. Please don't hit me. Hey, they didn't hit me. Surprise. All right, not bad. Of course, the dog spawns in after you do the... Oh, okay. I thought he was going to hit me for sure.
Almost.
This is another room that takes a minute to get used to on 2D controls because the camera likes to really spin in this room. It'll sometimes even spin for me on PS2 still, and I'm like, oh, all right then. And I don't know if that's a PS2 controller thing or if I get a Brooks converter and use my PS5 controller with it, if that'll be different. I use an Xbox One / or a Series X controller as well for this game because that's the only controller that natively wants to work with the game. I don't know how I got it to work with it. It just wants to work for it. However, the controls are quite an eldritch horror. I explained it last run, but for me to go into the menu, I have to hit L3 and pause is R3, among many other differences, because also the triggers won't register.
Yeah, that's an old game thing.
And start and select are how you would strafe, but I have those changed to quick save and quick load. And for healing purposes, I got rid of, what did I get rid of? I disabled something, so I have it on the A button, and X button is to walk. Yeah, I think that covers it, because
Yeah.
it's just like...
That's old game PC port stuff. Like, they think the triggers are an axis rather than a button. So if they're not set up to accept, like, more than 2 axes, and they're usually not, because they don't assume you'd have more than analog sticks, they don't accept them. Anyway, missionary.
Yes, missionary. Where this should be interesting, because we have...
Katana.
Okay, we hit him once. Oh, nice. Oh, okay, I think I've only gotten that, like, twice. To where...
Stunned him from the front.
Wait for his head bobble. Nope, getting hit in the face. Okay, try to hit me.
He's off.
And he's dead. Kick him for the final blow. Because, like, literally, if you don't, the fight doesn't end. It'll just sit there, and he'll just
Yep.
bleed out.
Gotta kick him while he's down to actually end it.
And then we actually head to Silent Hill now.
Yeah. So while point blank shotgun does more damage as like a single hit, one of the things that can happen in the missionary fight is that your katana can actually hit twice. Like both on the way in and on the way out.
Oh.
And that technically does more damage. There's a burgeoning school of thought in any percent that the katana might actually just be faster in general. So melee only might like fall out of favor as it becomes more similar to any percent. But it's not, the theory is not quite there yet. It remains a theory. People still be using guns. But the katana is actually deceptively quite strong if you can master the whole like double hit thing that it's got going on.
Nice. So again, once you pass the ice cream truck here, heal to keep your stamina up, and then go. Also, I want to point this out. Heaven's Night is in the game. However, unfortunately, the amazing theme song for Heaven's Night is not. And when I found that out, I was incredibly disappointed. Just, of course, we don't really go in there in any percent. Actually, I think what runs do go into Heaven's Night?
I don't think any of them. It's like out of the way. I don't think you'd ever go in there on purpose.
Fair.
I honestly forget you even can go in it in this game. But it is, it's like right there. It's just slightly off the street.
Alright, we're on the second floor. We're not going to grab the shotgun shells this time. We're just going to grab the 2 things and leave. And then we're going to put in our code, which is 4639. Again, switching to mouse because hitbox is really small. It's kind of annoying. There we go. And 921. So I typically go lowest number to highest number and then just mash the highest number out is typically what I do.
That makes sense.
There we go. Past the nurses who can sometimes shoot you. It's kind of super painful. Also, another thing that I'll randomly do is just talk to the staircase door for some reason. I don't know why I do it, because every time I'm like, why are you doing that? You know not to do that at this point, and sometimes just... I don't know. Then we're about...
See, it is the thing that you do use that door in Silent Hill 2, so I always have problems when I like swap between games.
That's...
Because it's like the same location.
Yeah. And now we go grab the key, and also re-equip our katana here, because we end menuing against the missionary on whatever weapon you're using, so the first thing that opens, so it only makes sense. And now Heather's just running around the hospital with a sword. Because of course. And now that we have that, we can go. However, random... Oh, come on, camera, don't do that to me. That's a thing that can happen with camera on 2D. And then there's also the submachine gun. I don't use it even during guns because 7439 because I can't aim the thing to save my life. So I'm like, I'm going to lose so much time against Leonard because I can't aim. So I just shotgun him. Accept the time loss and just go. All right. Let's see if I've distracted myself from learning what this is. Huzzah! I remembered what it was. There was that one point where I would have...
I'm glad you did, because I didn't really pay attention. I'm not gonna lie. I zoned out a bit there.
Because there was a point in time where I would have to just repeatedly say the code over and over and over again. Otherwise, it would completely slip my mind.
I just cheat. I get my chat to do it for me.
Sometimes...
I enlist my chat to be the people who remember the number.
Sometimes my chat will be nice. Other times, not so much, but it's fine. So just like pass. We're going to M mystery number because there's no number after the M. And then we're in the rusted hallway with very functioning gates. That makes no sense. Granted, I know nothing about Rust. Why are you going to that one? You know not to go to that one. Go to this one. There we go. Surprisingly, also very lit at parts. There we go. And then the gate coming up here, I forgot to mention this last run. You have to make this one close before this one will open. So that's why we do that, because it just won't open otherwise. And then, oh no, we're about to fall for a trap as all these gates are going to close behind me. Oh no, whatever am I going to do? Oh wait, culty symbol teleports me. And again, we get to...
Yeah, that again, those voice lines right there, they're also cut from the PC version. That voice actor in particular is the person who prompted them to get cut from the PC port.
Ah.
Because that's Lisa's lines.
And of course, we have the most powerful character in all of Silent Hill based on their core strength alone, because if you pay attention to his arms and legs, you will see that they are offering no support. So logically, we go to core strength. That's an angel, by the way. I didn't mention that last time either. All right, running through. Third floor shenanigans. Also, slurpers are back. This time they're red. Down to the second floor. When I first learned the game, the reason I do 2, 3, basement 1 is because I didn't realize that you could, 1, skip elevator rides, and 2, they didn't count towards the time that the timer pauses for them. So I was trying to use my logical brain as in, well, it doesn't take as long to go from 2 to 3. So go 2, 3, then down to the basement, then down to 1, or up to 1. Makes perfect sense. However, you can go down to the basement if you wish.
Yeah, the order doesn't really matter at all. People tend to do it in the same order, but it doesn't really have any impact on anything.
The only difference that I can tell is the fact that you have to you have to move past the key in the menuing, which is probably like what, half a second or whatever. So it's
if that.
So it's just like There we go, grab the key, because no puzzles here. And now it's time to meet good old Leonard. Isn't that gonna be fun? I wonder if he's going to swim.
This is easily the most volatile part on Melee only. Because with a gun, you can stunlock him to death. With a sword, no. You kind of just have to play the fight, like, properly, which is unfortunate, because it's a really obnoxious one if it gets out of control.
Mm-hmm. at least we can hit him while he's swimming, provided he's in a spot where I can hit him. Oh my god, I've never gotten that before.
Good low profile.
I have never done that before. And
That's the strat. That's the strats. That's strats. This is going well.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. He wants to be nice for us today. Oh my, okay. Yeah, that's
Very nice. Very nice.
never happened before.
That's the way. That's the ideal.
Yeah. But that is the hospital. Again, on HD collection, the screen is so dark you can barely see what's happening. One thing I will say about HD collection when it comes to Claudia's voice lines here, she sounds way more sinister in HD collection than she does in the original. She sounds a bit more whiny, in my opinion. So we're just running back through. There's now also a bee on the road. Sometimes we can see it, sometimes we can't.
The nice thing that occurred during the Leonard fight is that during Heather's stabbing forward with the katana animation, she crouches down just far enough that she can actually low profile Leonard's attempt to swipe her. That's why that happens. If you do it at exactly the right timing, it goes just clean over your head.
Yes, and I've seen Punchy do it a couple of times, and I'm like, how? Literally, that's the first time I've ever been able to do that. And I'm just like, okay.
It only works on easy, I think. I've never been able to get it to go on the other difficulties. I think because the attack animation itself actually completes faster.
Okay.
It's all sped up.
Back.
It's very subtle. On harder difficulties, boss actually get better frame data on their attacks. They're faster, they recover quicker, etc., etc.
Ah. So, okay. Random, weird lore question that probably nobody knows the answer to, but who is giving them motel keys? I don't know how populated this town is, but I'm pretty sure there's no one here, so how did they get a key to the room? It seems...
I've never once thought about that, and I don't like it. I took it from The Office, ? It's the best I've got.
Fair enough. I just think of these things weirdly sometimes, because I'm like, wait a minute, they drove here from another town in the middle of the night. There's no one in this town, as far as I'm aware. Where did the key come from to get in?
Well, if it's the same motel as in Silent Hill 1, then none of the doors are locked.
Okay.
Because you can go into a couple of the rooms in the first game, but they're not locked. You don't need a key.
Okay. Also, Robbie has returned to the screen. Everyone's favorite bunny rabbit.
Yeah, the Silent Hill mascot that isn't actually a Silent Hill mascot. It just he appears in one place in this game and that's it.
And also appears sort of throughout the series. That is double short key today. Hooray. And then we just leave. And then I equip the perfume so that he gets out of my way. They get a new attack once you hit the amusement park where they sort of just swing their arms back and forth. And if you don't wear the perfume, he becomes a brick wall and will do that attack to you. And it's not until after you are hit by it that it leaves you alone. And then there we go. Time to turn off the roller coaster. In a casual playthrough, this is what you would do to get out of the nightmare. Granted, the roller coaster's not on. You just walk onto the track. Or is it on? It's been a very long time since I've done that in a casual playthrough. So
it's on in the nightmare. It kills you in the nightmare. You wake up, and that's your clue to know to turn it off when you actually get back here for real.
Ah.
Because when you get here when you're not in the nightmare, it will kill you properly.
Yes. And now it's time for our favorite part of the game once again. I shall take a drink of matcha tea.
Please come inside and look
As I mentioned previously, you have to sit through all of this unless you're an extra new game, or if you die. If you die and hit continue, you can skip all of this. But we are just sitting here, waiting.
A family of 4 was sliced into
Silent
bloody
department.
pieces in this room. Ah, the cries of the children. The murderer was caught. Do you know why he said he killed his family?
Because I felt I had to. But that's a lie.
Anyway, I'm
They just
lying.
wanted to scare us.
It's all just a joke. I wanted to scare you, that's all. The truth is only
There is a way to
one
skip this if you're doing QSQL.
by suicide.
I don't know how it works, but there is a way.
Same principle as sewer skip. You can just kind of teleport around the room.
A quiet young man, but
Fair.
quite friendly as
Again, even on extra new game, you have to activate Danny before it'll let you go through. It won't let you go through till you do.
New Orleans. But he came here after first losing his way. Oh. Maybe
Yeah, sadly there's no like relevant gameplay thing you can do here to speed this up because it's actually tied to the length of the voice lines.
Yes. I will
If
say,
you replace them with null data, it goes immediately.
I'm so sorry. This place is just falling apart. The mechanism is broken, you see. It wasn't supposed to stop.
I think my
there.
biggest complaint
I assure you.
about this is not the dialogue and having to wait. It's the fact that coming up, the dialogue cuts out and doesn't finish, and it's like, I still have to run through another hallway. Why not let the last voice line play? It just seems a little weird.
That was supposed to be the exit, but it seems that no one wants you to leave. Everyone really likes you. They want you to stay with them forever. I have to agree.
Because after he says, I have to agree with him, he says, don't be afraid. Dying is much easier than living. And that's the last thing he
And
says.
you'll never hear it.
Nope.
You'll never hear it because the only way to hear it is if you hang around in the hallway long enough to die.
Yes.
Huh. The reason it doesn't keep playing though is because the game actually won't load new rooms if there's audio playing.
Oh.
This is the reason some load screens take longer than others. It's playing audio. Like, have you ever wondered why that one door in the church takes like 4 times as long as anything else? It's because it's playing that snarl sound effect. It won't load until it stops.
Oh. Whoops, don't run into the sign, Heather, please. And now we pick up the random red shoe that's just sitting here. I don't know why there's a random red shoe just here. A friend of mine actually asked if there was a lore reason why there's a red shoe and a doll head sitting where they're sitting. I told him I don't think there is. I think I did that wrong. I was supposed to go to the left and around, not what I did there. But yeah, I'm like, I don't think there's a lore reason. I think it's because they needed 2 objects for a puzzle.
Nope, need a puzzle item. Just put them in places.
Oh, yay. There we go. It's always, hitboxes are really weird in this game sometimes. There we go.
You can't use that here.
But I want to use it here, and if I move slightly to the right, you're going to let me use it. There we go. Please, this room is kind of still a pain, even on 2D controls.
The sudden camera change is really unkind to 2D controls.
Yep. So, Cinderella gets the shoe. That makes perfect sense. Now, granted, the head does look like an apple, so that's how you justify giving that to Snow White. And now we're going to fight our evil clone. Yay! And also fight some horses. Horses are a bit of a pain because sometimes Heather just won't do what I want her to do, and she'll do a stab instead of a slice, and it's like, can you not? So here's the thing that we get to do now. Yay, I get to skip the startup. I don't know why this works.
Yep, opening the save menu, for whatever reason, skips the waiting you have to do normally for this set piece to start. That's considered. It's also considered a form of, like, timer manipulation, so True Glitchless doesn't allow it.
Yeah.
But it's not a quick save and quick load, because you don't save or load, so it's allowed in this category.
There we go. I also believe that I don't do the horses in the correct direction. Also, by talking to the horses, it pauses the timer. The timer pauses on really weird things sometimes. I don't understand it, because some things will pause it, other things won't, and it's like, okay.
It doesn't really matter what way around you do the horses, for what it's worth.
Oh, okay.
Like, the horses kind of operate on a cycle where every X number of seconds, I forget what the number is, it checks to see if you've completed it. So even if there is a minor difference from going backwards or forwards, it probably doesn't amount to anything as long as you hit the cycle you're aiming for. This is why sometimes it seems like it takes more or less time after you've killed all the horses, because it only checks every so often.
Yeah, sometimes they'll start up really quick, and it's like, yay, I get to skip this really fast. All right.
All right, Alessa.
I love this hit animation, by the way, where she's like... It's so funny to me, and I don't know why.
Yep. She tries to run away from you, the katana hits her side on, but because the knockback is, like, based on the facing direction rather than the direction of attack, she kind of keeps sliding into you, so you just stun lock her that way.
Ow.
She has a gun. Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah, she tries to run away, you clip her in the side, and that results in her hit animation getting, like, pulled towards you so you can keep using the stun lock like this. It's great.
Yay.
The thing is that swinging the sword like that is stamina intensive. But on easy mode, you do have a lot of stamina to work with.
What would win, a pipe or a sword? We're finding out now. Nicely done.
These little micro steps forward to stay in range. I see those.
There we go. Whoops.
Yeah, final phase, Alessa here, has the fun habit of sometimes just not responding when stabbed. You do the same thing, you swing in front of her, but half the time you see those two hits, she just didn't react. This is just what Submachine Gun Alessa does. She just doesn't react half the time.
And then she runs away like that sometimes. Oh,
yeah, you
no.
see, the swings have become slower from Heather because her stamina is depleted, which also makes Submachine Gun Alessa kind of a pain. When you run out of stamina, you start to swing slower, and that is something you have to care about in melee-only runs.
There we go. Luckily, that fight wasn't too bad. My practice run was so bad. She just...
Yeah, that can go a lot.
She
go a lot worse.
She ran so much, and I couldn't get her to stun, and I was like, oh, all right then. So now we're just running into the church. There we go. Claudia being Claudia. Pick up the first of 5 cards. And there we go. This, I've had it happen where she doesn't stop until after 12 times. Yay, she did it after 3.
Yep, you got it.
3 is the optimal. I've been told that after 6 times, it's better to just wait. But at one point, it did happen to where I just kept going and it like went up to like 12 and I'm like, how? Why?
Yeah, the way that one goes is that there's like 3 routines I think it can call when you enter the second time. And of those, one of them just immediately completes if you leave and enter again, which is why you can suddenly move the painting instantly. But if you get one of the other two that it randomly calls, they just won't let you do it. So it's a 1 in 3, twice. I think. I might have explained that very badly. Someone who actually knows the game will probably be like, it's not quite how it works. It's like, I've forgotten exactly how. I saw, like, the pseudocode for it, and it kind of went in one ear and out the other. I'm pretty sure it's a 1 in 3.
Nice. Also, I picked up shotgun shells again.
I wasn't going to mention it. I saw it and I was like, do I inquire? Best to not.
Force of habit.
Extremely.
Grab the key. Also, if you hear this thumping, I used to make a joke back when I first started running that it was Ganon from Link to the Past on vacation, because the thumping reminded me of something from Link to the Past when you're dealing with Ganon. Don't question it. I do weird things like this all the time. All right, are you done? Oh, This one's the worst because you can't tell till you're almost there, and then you have to run all the way back.
1 in 3, baby.
All right, that's 5. Fun times.
This is great. With the margins that Silent Hill 3 runs operate on, you can absolutely get a run this far and then have it died out, like, not getting this immediately. Because every time you fail it, you lose, like, however many seconds, I haven't counted. But it's enough. Because Silent Hill runs operate on extremely thin margins at, like, the high end of play.
Mm-hmm. It stopped me from getting sub 40 for the longest time. And I was so tilted. I was, like, 4 seconds off at one point, and I'm like, really? Just, it's not a fun time. But again, if you do quick save, quick load, it just deals with it instantly.
Yeah, it just completes automatically. It's great.
Yes. And legitimately, it'd be the only thing I would do in quick save, quick load, because I've mentioned that it takes me like 2 hours to do a single trick, except for that one because it's instantaneous. There we are. Sometimes you can walk through and just kick him upon walking through. It's the funniest thing. And then time for the final bounce. This one was actually the first one I did because, again, we can't really see the desk there, and so I would constantly run into it. But by using that corner to bounce off of, you skip the desk entirely and you're able to continue. I don't know if it's a time loss or not. Probably is, but you know what? It's not as big of a time loss as hitting the desk, so it is what it is. Yay, he didn't hit me this time, because he hit me last time. Okay, Heather, not the time to be trying to play DDR, please. Don't.
The auto aim.
There we go. And then, it's time to go fight God. This fight is going to be interesting, because I don't know how to do the thing where she doesn't damage you. I also don't really have a good way to get her down on her knees to be able to hit her before she falls. So be prepared. Also, we're in yellow health, but granted, I'm probably always in yellow health for this fight. Because it's melee and not guns. So there we go. Put in the Fool. I also used to make a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reference during... Can I not go into my... There we go, because I need you. I used to make a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX reference when putting in those cards, because in Season 2, there is someone who uses a deck based off of Arcane, and it's like... Oh, everything has a number and they're all based off of signs. Okay. I don't remember all the numbers. Except for number 18 is the moon. And number 21. And 24 are the ones that I remember. Either way, it's time to fight. So usually what I do is I stand here and wait for her to set me on fire. Anytime now. There it is. And then she goes down, slice, and just stab. Because, I mean, taking damage on easy isn't really that big of a deal. I'm in here with enough heals to deal with it. Should be going up momentarily. Punchy, would you like to tell people where they can check you out while I'm doing this fight?
Hi, I've been Punchy. You can find me at twitch.tv/Punchy, although I'll also be, like, doing the next run-up, so there will be time.
Fair enough. Again, thank you so much for jumping on comms for this again. It has been very fun having you on.
Yeah, bother.
And then, oh wait, am I out of heals? No, I'm not. I thought I was out of heals.
It was like scaring me from it. So it's like, what are we cooking here?
There we go. That's time, by the way.
There we go. Time.
Excellent. We survived.
GG.
Thank you. Yes, you can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Abby's Corner. You can find me on Twitter at Abby_Brander. You can find me on co-host at Abby's Corner. I also have a podcast called Speedrunners and Coffee, where you can learn about the history of a speedrunner, because I interview people how they got started and whatnot. Again, shout-outs to Punchy again for coming on. Shout-outs to Schmumbler for letting me know that this was a thing. Shout-outs to a lot of the Silent Hill 3 runners, as well as the Silent Hill community in general. Super appreciate everybody's help throughout the last year. And also, again, I've been officially speedrunning for 2 years as of today. Yay! But thank you all once again for having me. And stay tuned, because Punchy's run is going to be absolutely fantastic, as well as Emma's run of Origins coming up after Punchy's run. So thank you all again.
Yeah, and thank you so much for being on and showing these 2 runs, and congrats on 2 years streaming.
Thank you. It's more speedrunning than streaming. I've been streaming a lot longer.
Well, congrats either way.
Thank you.
With all that said, we do have 2 more runs coming up, so we're going to take a quick break, and we'll see you for Silent Hill Shattered Memories.